Alrighty then, this is just kind of an overview of what I'm going for with the whole Raspberry Pi laptop thing. Got, of course, the Raspberry Pi, I've got a USB hub, a hard drive, a battery pack. That stuff's all pretty normal for like the portable Raspberry Pi setups, and honestly for most Raspberry Pi setups. The one thing that really makes this different is that I'm going to make it into a full-size laptop. So if any of you have seen the Novenia, which there's a link to in the description, and there's going to be one in the blog post I'm doing about this if you're watching it on there. So in the Novenia, it has all these things, and it's open source and all this stuff, which I thought was great. But the big thing it lacked was a small price tag. I mean, I can understand selling it for, $150, $200, something around that range for just the board. But the board itself, which has SATA, USB, I believe it's just USB 2, two Ethernet ports, a quad-core chip with a DDR3 SODIMM slot, which honestly, that's probably the one thing I'm going to not be able to do. SATA and a bunch of other features. It's $500, which is really expensive. And after I read about that right after getting a Raspberry Pi, so I figured, you know what I could do? I could just use a Raspberry Pi, use all the parts that would make it almost similar. I mean, it's not going to perform as well, not with a Raspberry Pi, not at all. I know that. But I could make something similar that was a hell of a lot cheaper. So we got, a screen, which I'm trying to use a laptop screen because I want something big, and they're really easy to get secondhand. You just go to a store and buy a used laptop and take it apart. It's really easy. But the problem is it uses LVDS as the connection type, and so really the only thing I've found that you can do is you can either buy a screen with a controller board, or you can buy a screen, or you can get a screen like I did, get a controller board that will work with that screen, and you kind of have something. The big problem doing that is it's hard to find one that'll for sure work with your controller or with your screen. And once you get it, it's kind of bulky, a lot of them are, and if they have extra connectors and stuff, if you want to shave down space, you have to like remove them. So that's one thing I'm kind of fighting with right now, and that's why, that's like the one part I don't have. And the case, of course. The case is going to be a little bit difficult, but that's kind of what the screen is. This is the battery pack I'm currently using just to test stuff. I'm not going to use it. It's only 6,000 milliamps, and I can get that out of 2 cells that are, half this size. So there's no point in me using this. It's just there for testing, so kind of ignore that. And then I have a USB hub, which is powered off 5 volts, which is nice because I can just use the same power source I'm going to use for the Raspberry Pi. And I'm actually going to try and find a different USB hub that I can power the Raspberry Pi from. That way I have to power one thing, and there's kind of some protection between the Raspberry Pi, or if I get a Raspberry Pi clone, the Raspberry Pi clone. That, kind of adds some second layer of protection because USB hubs are cheap. I can buy another one of those. I'm going to be using a hard drive, not this one because it's, really ancient, but it's just a portable hard drive I have lying around. I'm going to use a portable hard drive for extra space and speed because SD cards are super slow and terrible. I hate SD cards. And then I got this little circuit board I pulled out of the laptop that I used. It has a button on it and a DC power jack. And I think I'm going to use that to power it just because the power jack I know still works, the power button I know still works. And it's just one nice little neat circuit board, so which is kind of nice. That's about it. My kind of goal for all this is just to have something that I can use to like watch movies on, maybe do a little typing, and something that's inexpensive with really long battery life, because I go camping and I go backpacking all the time, and if I could take something with me that has like 2 or 3 or 4 day battery life, that's, it's a little big, but oh well, I can fit it in somewhere, strapped on the back of my backpack or something. With battery life like that, that's all I would really need. And then you have, music and movies and stuff like that for when you're camping, which honestly, super nice to have. As much as I've had people like kind of give me crap for it, it's nice to have something to entertain you at night. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Yeah. Give me your thoughts in the comments, or if you're watching this on my blog, in the comments there. Yeah, and we'll see what this looks like. This is just the first video. I'm going to hopefully be getting the controller for this soon. I found one, I just haven't ordered it yet. So, yeah. Have a good night, guys.